Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I've had a few people ask me questions about building home gyms because I have a pretty well set up home gym at this point. I have a pretty substantial investment, and when I mean pretty substantial, what I have, I'm closing in on 7 grand, like close to $7,000 worth of home gym equipment at this point. And I don't mean worth of, I mean that's actually what I paid. I didn't really buy anything used. But, for a lot of people, you might be on a really, really tight gym budget and you want to get the most bang for your buck. And a lot of people out there are going to be transitioning, meaning they're looking at taking a year or more to build their home gym and then still making normal trips to the gym while they slowly accumulate stuff at home. And, it's kind of interesting because there's things that I bought later on, like literally a year after I had already was training at home full time, that if I were to go back and advise people to do themselves who are going to transition over, I might actually recommend that you get first. So, for example, if someone said, hey, I'm looking to build my home gym first, I would start looking at like a glute ham raise and even an empty rack where you can have your chin-up bar hanging on it, right? And that might sound a little silly at first. People are like, what, you're not even recommending people worry about their weight plates yet and their bars? Because realistically, no, that's some of the most expensive pieces you're going to buy. All right. I mean, we have to be honest here. I don't know if people have priced this stuff, but getting 500 pounds of quality new plates, not junk plates, but actual good plates, 500 pounds of plates is going to be a big investment. A good bar is going to run you a minimum of 250, and then you're going to pay more than $1 a pound for plates. Expect to pay $2 to $3 a pound for decent plates. Now you can find some used stuff or really junky cheap stuff, but you don't always know what you're lifting. That may not last. On top of that, you can probably get it for less. But I mean, so you need to think about there. You're looking at an enormous investment for the bar and the plates, and if you start with those, if you're piecing it together, that might take more time. Or even if you do something like I do with Rogue, sometimes they run special deals and sometimes they don't, where you get free shipping if you buy X amounts of plates. And that shipping starts adding up real quick because when you start ordering hundreds of pounds of plates, you're going to find that your shipping can start exceeding $100. All right. So here's what I would say to people who are running a little tighter of a budget and you're trying to piece it together as you go. You're going to need to wait for deals on shipping. You're going to need to wait for good deals on plates and stuff, and buy those a few at a time. Sometimes you'll need to wait to get a really good bar, because there's one thing I'm going to tell you. The bar that you buy, especially your first bar, the main bar you're going to train on, you better research it and you better not skimp on it. I've got 4 bars right now and none of them are cheap. None of them are cheap. And they were worth every penny of what I paid for them, but they're all for a specific special purpose. Right, I have 2 different barbells, if you notice over there. They're both Rogue bars. One of them's a power bar and one's an Olympic bar. Different knurling. One of them has, knurling in the middle. The other is smooth in the middle. The smoother one in the middle has more whip to it. The other one is a lot less whippy, so that I can pull off the floor and it's harder for deadlifts and things. Less bar whip. So the one I even squat with is less bar whip, because I need that, because it whips when I do speed squats and stuff. So here's what I would say. Those are things you're going to need to piece together. The things that I would start with is the ability to do lifts at home that you may not always want to do easily at the gym, like a lot of your body weight stuff, right? Like a glute ham raise. Do you not understand how invaluable that is? I mean, if you're talking about accessory stuff for your squats and deadlifts, finding a glute ham raise really early on is going to let you do a fantastic hamstring work that's going to carry over to your deadlifts. It's going to reduce injury risks on deadlifts, by the way. That's one thing I've noticed with hamstring pulls over the years, because I've had a couple. Every time I pulled a hamstring, it had been over a year since I had done glute ham raises. And I've never pulled a hamstring at any point ever where I've been doing glute ham raises. And when you look at the biomechanics behind it, there's a good explanation why. It's because the deadlift doesn't fully work all the heads of the hamstring. It leaves one of them underworked, and so there can be some slight muscle imbalances if you're using, say, hip hinges to do all of your hamstring building. Stuff like the glute ham raise is fantastic for just thickening up full development of your hamstrings and preventing injuries, and it's something you can do at home on that device. What's the other perk? Well, the glute ham raise device, you can do abs and you can do lower back on it. You can do hyperextensions on it. Now, granted, it's a different angle. Some of the hyperextensions are 45 and you're basically doing them at a 90, but it is a tremendous work for your lower back and building your spinal erectors. Again, that's tremendously valuable to you. And if you need to do extra core work, glute ham raise gives you the ability to do really very, very tough ab work on top of it. So you basically have 3 absolutely phenomenal things that you can do with that one piece of equipment that are going to be invaluable to supplement your training at home as accessory work and injury prevention work that you can do at home while you are slowly building your gym and still going to a gym 2 or 3 days a week. Okay, if you get your rack next, I've told people before, if you just get a barbell, start with a good barbell and plates. I said that many years ago, but practically speaking, in all honesty, yeah, you can do a lot with that, but if you're still going to have access to a gym, that is so redundant and wasted, because you can still go do your normal barbell lifts at the gym. We could argue, you could do deadlifts and rows and clean and press and all that stuff at home with just a barbell, right? Spend your first $700-800 on a barbell and plates. Well, you guys see where I'm going with that. That's still stuff you could do at the gym and still have racks and everything at your normal gym. Your gym may not have a glute ham raising. Some things like those accessory movements are things you're going to want to do between your workouts, right? So that's going to let you start filling in the gaps with a really valuable piece of equipment. And if you work on getting a rack next, you can at the very least do what with your rack? You can start doing some extra band work, right? Once you have a rack, you can do pull-ups and chin-ups on it. So as you start to accumulate plates, because let's say you start binding plates, right? You get a plate here, a plate there, you get some at garage sales. You start accumulating your plates while you're still researching and looking for a good bar or looking for a good deal on a really good bar. You can get your rack ahead of time. And that rack is going to last forever. A good rack like the one that I have, my Rogue one, is a lifetime guarantee, rated to hold 1,000 pounds. You can do your chin-ups and pull-ups and stuff on it. And as you accumulate plates, you can start doing those weighted. And so then you have all these body weight exercises and added body weight you can do at home. And then if you get a few bands are cheap. You can do face pulls on it. You can do band crunches off of that. You can start adding bands for some of your glute ham raises and hyperextensions and things off your GHR. All right, that gives you a lot of versatility at home. It gives you a lot of versatility at home while you save up for other stuff, because you're going to dump $1,000 right there, right? But you're also going to dump $1,000 on a good bar and plates. So if you start with those things, you already have your foundation, and that lets you accumulate plates over time, because a lot of times people aren't going to want to dish out like I have. They're not going to drop $1,500 on a bunch of Rogue plates right up front. That's what I did first week I started my home gym. Ordered $1,500 of plates from Rogue because they were running a special and I got free shipping on all of them. I didn't pay $150 to ship them. It made a big difference. And I grabbed that first bar. But when you start doing all your barbell work at home, you're going to find you might need a couple different types of bars for some of the different lifts. Because I can tell you right now, you don't want to start doing heavy overhead pressing or any sort of Olympic lifts with that same barbell you deadlift, not with your deadlift bar. Right? So there's different whippinesses and things you're looking for. Because you're going to need to put thought into that. Like, what are you going to want to do at home first? And what barbell do you really need? What's your ideal bar? I feel like that gives you a better starting point to start transitioning into eventually training at home. So that's the first piece of equipment I would find. Find yourself a really good rack that you're going to want for the rest of your life. Even if you have to get it used, get a good one, find it. Find it at a garage sale, a deal on eBay, or order something new from someone like Rogue, like I did. Find a glute ham raise, right? I don't care whether it's one of the slightly less expensive ones like Titan, which is what I did, or if you want to get Rogue's actual one or Elite FTS, you need to get a good GHR and a good rack. A good rack with a chin-up and pull-up bar on it, right? That's where I would start. Then you start accumulating plates over time. But that first barbell choice is something that you're going to want to put a lot of thought into. You're going to need to base around what do you really plan on doing at home for the next 6 months versus what you plan on doing at your actual gym. And these are things that you need to look at and research, because again, I promise you, most of you out there, and there's a few exceptions, if you have $3,000 just to drop straight up front on a home gym, you can do a lot of what I did. Because my initial purchase, I spent $3,000 in the first week. A lot of people aren't ready to do that. right? And if you're not ready to do that, you're going to need to do it piece by piece, and it might take you 6 months, a year, maybe even up to 2 years of building your home gym if you're running it on a budget before you have a home gym that's fully equipped to do what you want to do. So those are the two pieces I would start with, and they're going to be so invaluable up front that they'll allow your transition to a home gym over time to go easier and allow you to get more workouts and stuff in there. You're not having to go to the gym to do assistance movements. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.